Trying to get out the same exit that the trooper stopped, his chosen path was obstructed, but he wasn't necessarily being held.
Why wouldn't the trooper, if he decided to let the SUV go, just move his patrol car?
Because somebody pulled up right behind the stop that he was on, and he was inquiring as to what they were doing.
But the officer clearly did not remove his car before having that conversation with the defendant.
That's correct.
He kept his car in place, blocking the exit with the blue lights on, and had a conversation with the defendant.
He walked back to the defendant, immediately noticed the odor,
but did not remove any obstacles, barriers, didn't turn off the blue lights. All appearance of authority was still in place, kept in place while he had the conversation. Didn't give any indication that this appearance of authority or stop was no longer present, that he was free to go if he so chose before the conversation took place. And he, in his own mind, but by all the testimony, indicated that he intended to manifest this stop in order to have this conversation.
With the SUV.
And the second car, too.
The second car pulled in before he was already en route to the SUV.
But he intended to have a conversation with that second car, too.
Once he had already stopped the SUV and the second car pulled in behind the SUV, once it was there, I would say he had the intent to go back and inquire what they were doing there.
I guess what Justice Melton is trying to point to, in this country we have a lot of personal liberties. One of those is the right to travel up and down the highways of the state without being interfered by law enforcement officers, unless for specific reasons. And the specific reason here was for what?
At that point, once he left the driver of the SUV, the specific reason would have been a consensual just encounter to see why he pulled up, why he was there.
And that assumes, it all assumes that it was consensual. And it may have been consensual at the beginning, but then the question is, did it look like you could just pull around them and get out? And your only evidence of that is a couple of undated photos the trial court never talks about that are contrary to all the evidence at the suppression hearing.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Weisenbaker, as an experienced prosecutor, if he had gone out and found this other exit, do you think that the police officer may have radioed somebody to stop him down the road?
I think that if he had gone out the other exit, he would have landed at the road check, which would have been why he probably didn't take that exit.
Mm-hmm. You don't think the police officer would have done anything, though?
No, Your Honor. I think because the officer didn't test. He did not. He caught in the manner of turning his vehicle around and getting to the SUV. He caught the defendant entering into the parking lot and make a turnaround, but the trooper testified he never saw the nature in which the defendant did that, so he wouldn't have had a basis.
Why did the officer walk up to him then if he was just parked there, if he didn't think he'd done anything? Because
he didn't know why he had pulled up and parked there.
Would that be the same reason if it was 3 blocks or 3 miles down the road, the officer saw a person turn on another street? Would the officer be authorized to stop him to see why he turned on this street?
Given that distance from the road check and without any evidence as to the nature of the driving, I would say no, there wouldn't be an authorization for a stop. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel.